Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Balaba Girivardhari Gopi Chandra Balaba Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today, of course, is the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. So we'll read from the Ramayana. This is based on the original Valmiki Ramayana. Okay. I'll just start from the beginning. The section is called Balakanda. Once, in a time long ago, there lived a great sage named Valmiki, who was never so happy as when he was discussing the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One day, while Valmiki was explaining the nectar of Krishna consciousness to a group of disciples, the great sage Sri Narada Muni, who travels continuously throughout the spiritual and material worlds, glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared appeared at Valmiki's hermitage. Upon seeing Sri Narada, Valmiki and his disciples immediately offered their respectful obeisances. Then, according to custom, they offered Sri Narada an elevated sitting place and washed his feet while sweetly inquiring about his welfare. After this, Valmiki inquired from Sri Narada, "O best of all knowers of truth, please tell me who, present now on the earth, is a reservoir of all opulences in full. Who is the most accomplished, learned, powerful, noble-minded, truthful, and grateful? Who possesses flawless character and remains engaged looking after the genuine welfare of all living entities? Who is there present that is without an equal, clever, the most beautiful, and is never subject to the influence of anger or malice, yet instills fear within the hearts of even the great demigods when enraged? Who has the prowess to give protection to everyone within the three worlds? To whom has the goddess of fortune bestowed all blessings? O sage, please answer my inquiries fully." The great sage Narada, who was able to know everything that happened within the three worlds, replied, "O Rishi, there is an illustrious king by the name of Rama, who has appeared in the royal dynasty of Ikshwaku as the son of Maharaj Dasarath. He is the embodiment of all transcendental qualities and the possessor of all opulences. Rama perfectly controls his senses and is the master of unlimited potencies. Rama has mighty arms that extend down to his knees, and his throat is marked with three auspicious lines like those of a canticle. He has high and broad shoulders, a wide chest, a beautiful formed head, a graceful forehead, powerful jaws, and deeply embedded collarbones. His eyes are large. He is majestically medium tall in stature, and all his limbs are well formed and symmetrical. His bodily complexion is dark greenish blue and has a great luster. His intelligence is unfathomable. His manner is grave and his speech is superb in tone and eloquence. Lord Rama has a supremely pure character and is a follower of true religious principles. He is full in self-realization and is the upholder of Varnashram Dharma. Truly, he is the support of the entire universe. He is simultaneously the destroyer of all foes and the only shelter for those who are fully surrendered. Lord Rama is the absolute knower of the Vedas. Furthermore, he is fully conversant with the use of all weapons. He possesses unflinching determination and is a genius with unfailing memory. Indeed, his learning is without bounds. He is wise, compassionate, and heroic in battle. He is loved by all creatures and is impartial toward friends and foes alike. He is grave like an ocean. In fortitude, he is like the Himalayan mountains. In strength, he is like Lord Vishnu. In beauty, he is like the moon. In forbearance, he is like the earth. And in anger, he is like the fire that blazes forth at the time of universal destruction. In wealth, he is like Kuvera, and in devotion, he is like Dharma, the Lord of righteousness. Narada then briefly described to Valmiki the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. He concluded by telling him that this same Lord Rama now rules over his subjects in a most righteous and exemplary manner. He explained that during the reign of Lord Rama, no one would suffer from any disease or mental disturbance. Everyone within Lord Rama's kingdom would be happy and prosperous, never fearing thieves, scarcity, or hunger. All the cities and villages would be filled with abundant grains, fruits, vegetables, and milk products. Indeed, the people would experience the same degree of piety and happiness that was exhibited during the Satya Yuga. There would be no natural disturbances like floods, earthquakes, or famine, and all the women would be chaste and never suffer widowhood. Lord Ramachandra will rule the earth in this way for 11,000 years before returning to his supreme abode in the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha. After satisfying the inquiry of Valmiki Muni, which was for the benefit of the three worlds, Sri Narada again took up his travels, spreading the glories of the Supreme Lord. The sage Valmiki then journeyed to the banks of the river Tamasa, accompanied by his disciple Bharadwaj. At the river bank, Valmiki sat down to meditate upon the words of Sri Narada. Sitting within the forest, Valmiki happened to see a pair of cranes, fully absorbed in sexual intercourse and singing in melodious jubilation. At that time, a malicious hunter of the Nishada race appeared from his hiding place and released an arrow that pierced the body of the male bird, causing it to fall shrieking to the ground. Then, upon seeing her mate writhing upon the ground and smeared with blood, the she-bird cried out in terror, having suddenly been cast down from the heights of sensual pleasure to the depths of despair. When Valmiki witnessed this tragic scene, feelings of great compassion welled up within his breast. Considering the Nishada's violent act to be extremely sinful, Valmiki became angry and cursed the hunter, saying, "O killer of birds, as punishment for your heartless murder of an innocent creature engaged in gratifying his mate, may you never find peace of mind for endless years." However, no sooner was this curse uttered than Valmiki felt a pang of shame for becoming a victim of uncontrolled anger. Indeed, as an enlightened soul, he knew that all living beings are acting helplessly under the influence of material nature. Thus, he regretted retaliating against the hunter. At the same time, Valmiki was astonished that the curse he uttered had come from his mouth in a wonderfully poetic meter. Indeed, his curse seemed to hint of the predominant emotional expression of the Ramayana, which he had been contemplating since his meeting with Sri Narada. This caused Valmiki to remark to his disciple Bharadwaj, "From my sorrow came a verse of 4 lines, each containing 8 syllables. From Shoka, lamentation, has come a wonderful shloka, verse, for without compassion there is no possibility of genuine poetic expression. Without compassion, there's no possibility of genuine poetic expression. Therefore, Valmiki bathed in the river Tamasa and returned to his ashram with Bharadwaj. While continuing to meditate upon his curse of the hunter, he suddenly saw Lord Brahma descending from his abode, the topmost planet within this universe. Overwhelmed with wonder and jubilation, the speechless Valmiki stood up to receive the firstborn being of the universe. When Lord Brahma appeared before him, Valmiki offered his respectful obeisances and worshipped Lord Brahma with great awe and reverence. Then Lord Brahma, the universal grandsire, who can understand the hearts of everyone, said, "O blessed sage, please do not grieve by thinking you have wrongly cursed this Nishada hunter. In truth, the words that you appeared to utter in anger were my own. They were spoken through your mouth for the purpose of inspiring you to accomplish a great task. Indeed, the time has come for you to compose the history of Lord Ramachandra's life. Great transcendental pastimes meant for the ultimate welfare of the world." My dear Valmiki, there is no cause for you to be anxious, for by the strength of my benediction, everything that is unknown to you will become clearly revealed within your heart. Thus, by my grace, your narration of the Ramayana will be flawless. After bestowing this benediction upon Valmiki, Lord Brahma departed for his abode upon his celestial swan carrier, filling all who had beheld him with wonder. Valmiki then sat down in meditation to discover all the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra as indicated by Lord Brahma. Absorbed in a deep trance, Valmiki clearly envisioned within his heart all the events of Lord Rama's appearance. Valmiki then composed the Ramayana in 24,000 verses. 24,000 verses. After completing the epic poem, he wondered whom he could teach it to so that it would remain preserved in memory and propagated all over the world. While Valmiki was thus contemplating, his disciples Lava and Kusha, who were dressed as rishis, came before him and touched his feet, as was their daily custom. Sita had given birth to the twin brothers while in exile, and they had remained under Valmiki's care ever since. Sita's forced exile had come about when a citizen of Ayodhya doubted her chastity after being touched by the 10-headed monster Ravana. Thus, Lord Ramachandra was forced to banish her. Their 2 sons, Lava and Kusha, were gifted with fine memories and musical abilities. Moreover, they were well versed in the Vedas. Physically, the twins were exact replicas of their father, and musically they were as talented as the heavenly Gandharvas. Thus, as Valmiki gazed fondly upon the twins, he realized that they were fully qualified to receive the Ramayana. Thereafter, Valmiki proceeded to teach Lava and Kusha the entire Ramayana with great care. The twins committed the entire text to memory. Following Valmiki's instructions, they chanted Lord Ramachandra's wonderful pastimes before great sages, learned brahmanas, and other pious men pure in heart. The learned brahmanas experienced great transcendental pleasure in reciting the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Thus, the brahmanas praised Lava and Kusha, rewarding them with many valuable gifts. From that day, Lava and Kusha began traveling all over the world, reciting the epic Ramayana. In the course of their wanderings, they eventually came to Ayodhya. There, Lord Ramachandra saw the two boys wandering through the city streets dressed in the garb of rishis. Upon hearing the wide acclaim that their expert recitation of his transcendental pastimes, Lord Rama took great pleasure in inviting them to his palace to recite the Ramayana. Still, although they were his sons, he did not recognize them. After respectfully receiving the twin sages, the Lord invited them into his royal assembly. Lord Rama observed that the boys, although dressed as ascetic brahmanas, had the features of Kshatriyas. Speaking to his brothers, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna, Rama said, "O best of King Raghu's dynasty, please listen to this wonderful narration. Although these two singers appear like ascetics, they have the marks of great rulers. Listen to this story because it is full of literary beauty and has universal appeal." As Lava and Kusha began the narration of the beautiful epic poem, Rama and his brothers soon forgot everything else, becoming fully absorbed in hearing the Ramayana. The bonds of material existence can be completely cut by simply chanting and hearing the Lord's glories. Next section. The tract of land known as Koshala extended along the banks of the Sarayu River. This land was verdant, prosperous, and rich in grain. Within this vast territory was the renowned city of Ayodhya, built by the desire of Vivaswata Manu, the ruler of mankind. The glorious city was 96 miles long, and 24 miles wide. It was well laid out, and its beautiful straight roads were perfumed with scented waters sprayed from the trunks of intoxicated elephants. Every day, the damsels of celestial planets hovered above it in their beautiful airplanes and showered it with flowers. The arched gateways of Ayodhya were made of marble, and the gates were wrought with gold and silver and embedded with precious jewels. Cannons and catapults capable of repulsing any enemy, protected the city walls. The marketplaces were well planned, and seven-story houses symmetrically lined the streets. 7 stories. Adorned with multi-storied palaces and surrounded with exquisite gardens, Ayodhya resounded with the vibrations of musical instruments, rivaling Amaravati, the abode of the heavenly king Indra. Throughout the city, bards and singers recited the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and dancers acted out the Lord's pastimes for everyone's benefit. Within Ayodhya were many beautiful gardens, abounding with flowers and shaded by fruit trees. Blue, red, golden lotuses filled the ponds, and fountains shot water high into the sky. Gentle breezes carried the aromatic spray from the fountains, cooling the citizens by their touch, and making even a hot summer day seem like spring. The sounds of cranes and peacocks could be heard everywhere. The water flowing through Ayodhya's streams and rivulets tasted as sweet as sugarcane sap, and it was used not only for drinking but for irrigating innumerable mango orchards. Many houses and palaces, perfectly designed, were built of precious stones and decorated with flags and festoons. Their beauty rivaled the palaces of Vaikuntha. Thousands of warriors protected the great city. Skilled archers, well versed in the use of weapons, and chariot fighters who were able to fight with thousands of men at a time. The streets leading into Ayodhya were always filled with travelers. Kings and princes from all parts of the world came to render their annual tribute and pay respects to the king of Ayodhya. Traders from near and far flocked to the markets to barter. Brahmana priests could often be seen pouring ghee into sacrificial fires and chanting Vedic hymns, proclaiming the glories of Lord Vishnu. Having mastered their senses and devoted themselves to truth, these brahmanas were blessed with all good qualities. Jai Shri Gauranitai, Shri Radha, Braja Vihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Lord Shingane, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Maharaj Dasaratha was the emperor of the entire world and was a great Rajarshi. Maharaj Dasaratha was the emperor of the entire world and was a great Rajarshi, considered almost on the level of a Maharshi. He was a formidable warrior, capable of fighting alone with an unlimited number of opponents. Because he and the citizens were completely pious, Ayodhya was the picture of perfect Vedic civilization. Every imaginable opulence was exhibited in perfection, and material miseries coming from the results of sinful life were practically non existent. In Ayodhya, the four social orders, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, participated cooperatively for the peace and prosperity of the kingdom. No one cheated and no one was miserly. Arrogance, atheism, and harsh behavior and speech were conspicuous by their absence. Even though Maharaj Dasarat possessed such fantastic opulence and prestige, he remained unhappy. Try as he may, the king was unable to beget a son to continue his dynasty. Finally, after much deliberation, King Dasarat decided to perform a horse sacrifice for the purpose of getting a son. With this in mind, he sent his chief minister, Sumantra, to call for his family priest. Let's see. There's a footnote here. Srila Prabhupada explains a Vedic sacrifice is not an ordinary performance. The demigods used to participate in such sacrifices, and the animals sacrificed at such performances were reincarnated with new life. In this age of Kali, there are no powerful brahmanas who can invite the demigods or give renewed life to animals. Formerly, the brahmanas, well conversant in Vedic mantras, could show the potency of the mantras. But in this age, because there's no such brahmanas, all such sacrifices are forbidden. So horse sacrifices are not allowed in Kali Yuga. When a brahmana headed by Vashishta and Vamadev assembled, Maharaj Dasarat addressed them, saying, "O best among the twice born, for many years I have ardently desired to beget a son. However, all my efforts have been in vain. Because I am without an heir, I can no longer feign happiness. Indeed, my days seem wasted and are filled with grief. Thus, after much careful consideration and with your kind permission, I have decided to perform a horse sacrifice. Because you are fully knowledgeable in Scripture, I am confident that you will be able to lead me to the proper path." The priest unanimously approved of Maharaj Dasarat's idea to perform the horse sacrifice, and thereafter the king ordered his ministers to make all the priest unanimously approved of Maharaj Dasarat's idea to perform the horse sacrifice, and thereafter the king ordered his ministers to make all necessary arrangements without delay. Sumantra then took Maharaj Dasarat aside to narrate the following story that he had formerly heard from Sanat Kumar, who had spoken it in an assembly of great sages. "You will be very interested to hear this story, my dear king," Sumantra said, "because it predicts that in the future you will become the father of 4 glorious sons. Due to some offense on the part of King Romapod, there once came to be an extreme severe drought within the kingdom, causing great fear among the living beings. When the conditions became intolerable, Maharaj Romapad summoned his council of learned brahmanas and inquired from them the cause of the drought. I know that it is because of some fault of mine, and that this terrible drought has now overcome my kingdom. O best of the twice born, because your knowledge is boundless, please prescribe the proper atonement for my past sin. The Brahmanas replied, O king, there is a great Brahmana sage named Brigi Rishi, who is residing in the forest. Brigi Rishi is the son of Kashyapa, and his son is named Rish. Sorry. If you can bring this Rishi's son to your kingdom and give him your daughter, Shanta, in marriage, the drought will immediately end. Shanta was actually the daughter of Maharaj Dasarat, but had been given to the king's childless friend Romapad at the latter's request. King Romapad was very glad to learn the means for ending the drought, but when he requested his priest to summon Rishashringa, they refused. The Brahmanas explained, O king, we fear that the Brigi Rishi will curse us if we try to lure his son away from home. Rishashringa had been brought up by his father in complete isolation. He has never even seen another human being, because Rishashringa has never once beheld a member of the fair sex. He is completely unaware of the pleasure of their association. My dear king, since we desire your welfare, we have devised a method for bringing Rishashringa to your kingdom. Having the most beautiful of courtesans go there and allure him with their feminine ways. We are certain that by this means your aim will easily be accomplished. Maharaj Romapad agreed to their plan and then sent for the foremost of young and beautiful prostitutes. After being thus instructed by the king and promised sufficient rewards, the girl departed for the forest, determined to bring back the young Rishi at all costs. Thereafter, the prostitutes set up their camp at the ashram of Brigi Rishi and waited for the opportune time. It so happened that one day Rishashringa wandered away from the home and came to the camp of the prostitutes. Seeing him, the girls jubilantly approached Rishashringa. When they asked about his identity, the boy replied, I am the son of Brigi Rishi, and I am engaged in performing austerities nearby at my father's ashram. How wonderfully beautiful all of you are to look at. I wish that you would come to my home and accept my worship and hospitality. The prostitutes then went to Rishashringa with Rishashringa. where they were very nicely received at his ashram with offerings of water to drink, water for washing their feet, and various kinds of fruits and roots. However, the girls were extremely afraid of their father's imminent return, and they did not wish to stay too long. As the prostitutes were leaving, they said, "My dear friend, our customs for receiving guests are quite different from yours. Now, please accept our offerings of honor and respect in return." Seeing this, the girls embraced Rishashringa tightly with great affection, and they fed him sumptuous sweets. Never before had the Rishi's innocent son tasted anything so pleasing, for he had been accustomed to eating only fruits and roots. Indeed, he thought that the sweets were in a type of wonderful fruit. Moreover, since he had previously seen only his father, he took the prostitutes to be enchantingly beautiful men. He didn't understand. After the girls departed, Rishashringi began to experience feelings of unease and restlessness within his heart. The seed of lusty desire, which had remained dormant within his heart, had sprouted. Rishashringa began to constantly think of the beautiful women. Rishashringa could hardly sleep that night. His mind and heart became overwhelmed by thoughts of their sweet speech and tender embraces. Unable to think of anything else, the following day, Rishashringa went to the prostitutes' camp. The girls received Rishashringa with great delight and then explained, "This is not our real home. Please come aboard our magnificent floating hermitage and accompany us to a place where we will be able to entertain you in a much better fashion. We have many nice varieties of fruit and roots, and we shall pass the time so enjoyably with you, or that you will hardly be able to perceive how time is passing." Being captivated at heart, Rishashringa unhesitatingly accompanied the prostitutes. Thus the women allured him back to the capital of Romapad within the kingdom of Anga. Indeed, even as Rishashringa was being carried down the Ganga, Indra began to send forth showers of rain, giving joy to all the living creatures. As soon as he understood that Rishashringa had arrived, King Romapad came out from his palace and bowed down before the young Rishi. Then, after worshipping Rishashringa with great affection, Romapad escorted him into the inner apartments of his palace, where he presented his daughter to the Rishi in charity. When he could understand that Rishashringa was fully satisfied, Maharaj Romapad begged from him the benediction that neither he nor his father would show their wrath toward him because of the duplicitous manner in which he allured Rishashringa away from his home. Rishashringa gave the king his assurance, and thereafter the marriage between him and Shanta was celebrated with great festivity. After the wedding, the newly married couple continued to live in Maharaj Romapad's palace and thus passed their days happily in royal comfort. Sumantra concluded his narration to Maharaj Dasarat. O king, Sanat Kumar predicted that you would take help from your friend Romapad by requesting him to allow Rishashringa to come to the kingdom of Kushala and perform a horse sacrifice. He was further indicated it was further indicated that after the performance of the horse sacrifice, you would gain the fulfillment of your desires by receiving 4 incomparable sons. Maharaj Dasarat was very pleased to hear this story from Sumantra. Then, without delay, he went with his retinue to the kingdom of Anga. There he was received by Maharaj Romapad with great respect. And at that time, the king of Anga um, informed Rishasringa that Dasarat was his real father-in-law. After enjoying Romapad's hospitality for about 1 week, Maharaj Dasarat addressed his friend as follows. For a long time I have been morose on account of not having a son to perpetuate my illustrious dynasty. Now I beg you to allow Rishasringa to come to Ayodhya to perform a horse sacrifice on my behalf. Romapad happily agreed, and Maharaj Dasarat soon returned to his kingdom with Rishasringa and Shanta. Then when spring arrived, Maharaj Dasarat humbly approached Rishasringa, begging him for instructions regarding the performance of the horse sacrifice. Thus preparations for the sacrifice commenced, and a site was selected on the northern bank of the river Sarayu. The system was for an emperor to send a challenge horse all over the world to establish his supremacy over subordinate kings. The horse would be accompanied by soldiers of the emperor, and upon his arrival in a kingdom, the local king would either have to offer tribute to the emperor's representatives or fight to capture the horse. Any ruling prince or king was at liberty either to express his tacit willingness to obey the emperor or accept the challenge and thus disobey the supremacy of the particular emperor. One who accepted the challenge had to fight with the emperor's men and establish his own supremacy by victory. I always give these people some Mahaprasad. Can you just run back there quick and see if you can find some Mahaprasad? Yeah, I always say every Tuesday they're here. You can see the refrigerator or it's in the kitchen, I'm not sure. Understanding that King Janaka would be the future son-in-law of their sons, Maharaj Dasarat sent him the first invitation. Likewise, other subordinate kings were requested to attend the sacrifice. After 1 year, the challenge horse returned to Ayodhya, having wandered over the earth under the protection of 400 princes. Only then could the sacrifice begin. After the preliminary rites had been performed, Maharaj Dasarat's eldest queen, Kaushalya, circumambulated the challenge horse, which was tied to one of the sacrificial stakes. Then, with 3 strokes of a sword, she severed the horse's head as prescribed by scriptural injunction. Thereafter, Rishasringa offered the fat of the dead horse into the sacrificial fire. Maharaj Dasarat was directed to inhale the fumes to free him from all sins. Then the assisting priest offered the limbs of the horse into the sacrificial fire, bringing the 3-day sacrifice to an end. Maharaj Dasarat then gave away the 4 gave away the 4 directions of the earth in charity to the 4 chief priests. The Brahmanas returned the gifts, however, saying, "O king, we are devoted to Vedic study and the performance of austerities and have no interest in ruling over a kingdom. Therefore, please give us other gifts like cows and gold." Um, Someone's getting some push on. Rishishringa then approached Maharaj Dasarat, saying, "My dear king, you will surely receive 4 glorious sons. However, I propose that a separate sacrifice known as Putreshti be performed for that purpose." Maharaj Dasarat readily assented, and soon the sacrifice was begun. Meanwhile, in the higher planets, the chief demigods approached Lord Brahma and explained, "O grandsire, because of your benedictions, Ravana has become so powerful that he is harassing everyone at will. Even we cannot subdue the wicked Rakshasa. Therefore, we request you to personally devise the means for his destruction." Lord Brahma considered the situation and then replied, At the time of asking for the benediction, Ravana did not bother to ask for immunity from death at the hands of human beings, for he considered them to be too insignificant. While Brahma was thinking how Ravana could be killed, Lord Vishnu suddenly appeared riding on his carrier Garuda. As effulgent as many suns, Lord Vishnu appeared in his 4-armed form, dressed in bright saffron garments, and carrying his disc, conch, club, and lotus flower. The demigods worshipped the Supreme Lord with great reverence and then requested, "O Master of the universe, please come to our rescue by dividing yourself into 4, becoming the sons of Maharaj Dasarat for the purpose of killing Ravana." So the 4 sons of Dasarat were actually Lord Vishnu divided himself into 4 different forms. I'll read just a little bit more, then we have to go. Lord Vishnu replied, "Rest assured, there is no longer any need to be afraid. I will soon incarnate to rule over the earth for 11,000 years after vanquishing your enemy, the king of the Rakshasas." After saying this, Lord Vishnu disappeared as the demigods looked on with wonder. Meanwhile, from the sacrificial fire of Maharaj Dasarat, there appeared an exceptional being of dark complexion with all auspicious bodily features. This personality appeared to be unlimitedly powerful. He was decorated with transcendental ornaments, and in his hand he carried a large golden pot of sweet rice. That divine person then told Maharaj Dasarat, "I am a messenger from Lord Vishnu." With folded hands, the king replied, "O Vishnu Duta, please order me to perform whatever service I can render." The servant of Lord Vishnu said, "This pot of sweet rice is the reward for your 2 sacrificial performances. Give portions to your 3 wives to eat. Through them you shall beget 4 sons who will forever perpetuate your fame." Maharaj Dasarat happily accepted the sweet rice and circumambulated the Vishnu Duta. After Lord Vishnu's messenger disappeared from view, Maharaj Dasarat quickly gave portions of the sweet rice to his wives, for he was eager to have sons. Maharaj Dasarat gave Kaushalya 1/2 of the sweet rice, Sumitra 1/4, and Kaikeyi 1/8. Then, after some deliberation, he gave the remaining eighth to Sumitra. All three wives were overjoyed, for they were confident that they would soon become mothers. The three queens eagerly ate their shares, and soon thereafter each felt the presence of divine offspring within their wombs. When Maharaj Dasarat understood that his wives were pregnant, he too became satisfied. Meanwhile, Lord Brahma ordered the demigods as follows: beget partial manifestations of yourself to assist Lord Vishnu in his forthcoming incarnation. The children which you produce in the form of monkeys, by uniting with apsaras, she-monkeys, and female yakshas, nagas, vidyadharas, and other celestial beings, must be capable of assuming any form at will and must possess all other mystic powers. In addition, they must be very intelligent, highly skilled in the use of weapons, and having prowess almost equal to Lord Vishnu, and possess ethereal bodies. Let's read two more paragraphs. After receiving the order of Lord Brahma, Indra begot Bali, Surya begot Sugriva, Brihaspati begot Tara, and Kuvera begot Gandhamata. Vishvakarma begot Nala, Varuna begot Shushena, and Vayu begot Hanuman. Besides these principal monkeys, many thousands of others took birth to assist Lord Vishnu in his mission. All of them were gigantic, like mountains, and were very eager to fight with Ravana. Like the demigods who begot them, these monkeys were born just after conception. They were so powerful that they could agitate the ocean with their impetuous energy. There were three classes of these creatures, created beings: bears, monkeys, and monkeys that had long tails like cows. Because there were more than 10 million of these monkeys and bears, the earth soon became overrun with them as they wandered throughout the forest, eating wild fruit and various roots. After the completion of the Putreshni sacrifice, the demigods who personally came to accept their offerings, and the priests, Rishashringa and Shanta, departed for their respective residences. Then after a pregnancy of 12 months, on the 9th day of the waxing bright fortnight in the month of Chaitra, Kaushalya gave birth to a son. This divine son had reddish eyes and lips, long arms, and was decorated with all auspicious markings. The son of Kaushalya represented 1/2 of the potency of Lord Vishnu. Okay, one more paragraph. Soon thereafter, a son representing 1/4 of the prowess of Lord Vishnu was born of Kaikeyi, Maharaj Dasarat's youngest queen. Then 2 days after that, after the appearance of Kaushalya's son, Sumitra gave birth to twins, each representing 1/6 of the potency of Lord Vishnu. All four of the newborn children highly resembled one another and were exceedingly effulgent and pleasing to behold. Indeed, upon the appearance of Maharaj Dasarath's four sons, the demigods showered flowers from the heavenly planets, while the Gandharvas sang and played musical instruments as the Apsaras danced. In Ayodhya, there was a great festival, and musicians, dancers, and actors crowded the streets, with all the citizens participating in the merrymaking. Okay. I think I have to end here. I have other duties to perform. So thank you, everyone who come in to hear this reading from the Ramayana. We'll have our festival later on today. In the evening, I'll also be speaking, giving the evening class where we talk more about the other very important thing for for us here, and that was the appearance of our Gaura deities, which is today is the 50th anniversary of their appearance. So thank you for coming in. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.